All right, in this video, we're going to go into the hands-on exercises with Fish, and we're going to do some code system and value set creation. So what I'm going to do first is tab over to Google to search in patient resource FHIR, and then let's go ahead and find a data element to extend. So these value sets, if it's a binding strength required, we can't actually change it. So these other ones, like extensible, there's other ones like preferred or example, those are ones we can actually change. And extensible in this case means that we can add to it, but we can't actually change the set of codes that are already there. So we can only add to it. So this is the value set, and these are the code systems that they come from, and here are the codes. So we're going to actually add to this list right here. And so let's work on that. I'm going to go tab back over to Fish. And so the way we're going to do this is first, let's go ahead and add marital status as a thing that we want to use. So we want to constrain. Let's do that. We're going to add that to our profile for a patient. And of course, we have an instance here. So we need to make sure we add it to our instance as well. Marital status. And we have the system. Actually, I can go ahead and use dot coding, and it is system equals. I need to actually look up the system that it's coming from. So here's the system. Okay, and then the code. Remember, the code always starts with the pound sign. Let's go ahead and choose annulled. See if that works. Skipping a rule. Okay, so marital code.system. I don't remember. Maybe you got to do this. There it is. Okay, cool. So now we have a marital status coming from one of the code systems that they defined. But our purpose, we're going to try to extend this and add to it. So what we need to do, whenever we're extending to something that's extensible, again, we can't change what they already have. So we need to add to it. So let's define a new code system of the codes that we want to use. And so what we're going to do is let's just kind of make this fun. It's dating always gets a interesting rap nowadays. So let's use some new terms that dating has. And what we're going to do is go to, it's like my additional code system for marital status. Call this ID. My additional code system for marital status. Call this my additional code system for marital status. I'm going to give this a fun new terms for describing dating in 2024. Hopefully this will be pretty fun. So we have our declaration and keywords. Now let's add our constraints. For code systems, we want to set this as active. We want to, let's say, set the date of when we created it. So we'll set this to today, June 16. And then let's define these new codes. And some of these are you're probably familiar with because they've come up on like business websites and stuff. So it's kind of interesting. First thing is we have ghosting. So ghosting is when someone suddenly cuts off contact with you without warning or explanation. That is ghosting. Let's do zombieing. That's another popular one. So zombieing, by the way, I looked these up, so I don't have these memorized. When the ghoster tries to reconnect with you in some way, again, without warning or explanation. And then if you're a fan of Will Smith, you have situationship. This one's probably a little outdated now, but a romantic relationship between two people who do not yet consider themselves a couple, but who have more than a friendship. It's definitely many different definitions of this. This is just one of them. Okay, so we have our code system. Let me just double check that works. Okay, there's no erroring out. And then there it is. Here's my code system. Here's the URL for my code system. We have a code, display, and definition. Okay, cool. So now we want to extend it. But we remember from our last uh, video, we can't actually reference the code system when we're constraining it because we're going to want to add it to here. We need a value set to define those new codes. And that value set must contain the codes from the existing code system and then also my new code system. So next, we will define our new value set. Okay. So for the value set, we will make our declaration. We're creating a value set. This is my additional codes for marital status. Let's give it an ID. My additional codes for marital status. I have a title. My additional value set for marital status. And description. Dating in 2024. Okay, cool. So now we will include codes from system, and we're going to use the other system that we had earlier. So down. Actually, it's the value set. I want the value set. Let me grab that over here. So this is the one that they had. So I'm just going to grab this. Tab back over here. Go ahead and paste that in. Okay, from marital status. And then we will then also use include codes from system, and we will use my code system here. So you can actually reference it by this name over here as well. Let me just double check that works. Okay, cool. So now you see we have a value set that we just created over here. This is the name of my value set, active, dating 2024, and it includes codes from the existing code system. It's really nice. It just links to it so you can see it. And then our new code system down here. Okay, cool. So now we have a code system and value set. What we're going to do is we're going to add it to our profile to say that I want to look at my additional codes as well. So I'm going to add marital status here. And then for marital status, I'm going to need to say from my value set, which is, where's the value set? Here it is. Here's the name. From value set. Okay, and then we have to give it a binding strength. So we're just going to keep the same one, say extensible here. Let's give that a try. And then that worked. We have a new marital status with this binding. The binding is to this new value set that he created, and it's extensible. So now I can actually use one of these codes. Where's my codes? Here, ghosting. Let's say we're doing ghosting. Okay, so you can see my current ones here. I'm going to use ghosting in my example. And then I actually need to change the system. Well, actually, I wonder if that works. Do it this way. I guess that worked. This actually shouldn't have worked. Or this is like incorrect. The system should be... let me grab it down here from code system. This one here. Yeah, so you can set additional constraints to make sure those things are exactly as is, but this would not technically be correct. It should be like this. All right, so now we have coding from my new code system, and it's ghosting. So, all right, now let's add one more thing here, which would be aliases. So I'm just gonna briefly introduce aliases. Aliases make it a lot easier to reference these things. So I have aliases, and it's pretty simple. You just define an alias like this. You give it a short abbreviation. So I'm just gonna say mycs, and then I'm going to add the, where's my code system? My code system here, and then in simplifier they start off the base URL with example.org. You say it's this code system, and then you just add the ID. And then so we'll do one for alias as well, for my value set as well. So my value set is here, and then we do HTTP. Again, just remember that this is the base URL of the IG that you'll be creating, so the base URL will be different. Simplifier just uses this. So let's just double check the syntax works there. That looks good. And then now we can actually use these aliases where we were defining it earlier. So for example, down here, instead of saying this whole long thing, I can just say from my CS, and then that should pull in. So that's really nice. And then down here, instead of saying this value set, I can just say my VS. Okay. Well, hopefully that's helpful. A very simple way of creating code systems and value sets and extending different data elements. Thanks for watching.